wheels underway. Stamps his authority once again.
My word, this could go wrong.
On the brakes, goodness me, what a launch.
Look at that.
It just all comes down to this. Ladies and gentlemen, the final round of the season is upon us. Welcome along to the United Arab Emirates. And we will be here for round number 14 of season 10. And, well, just as quickly as it feels as though it started, it is over. My name's Joseph Black. I'll be taking you through all of the action here today. And I'll be alongside Kyle Stewart-Woodard. And we've got a special guest in the box with ourselves today. But, Kyle, a bittersweet race here around Abu Dhabi.
Absolutely. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again, and welcome for the final time for season 10. What a fantastic season it's been. The Drivers' Championship went quite far on into the season, one race more than last season. So it was a lot of fun, and I think until recently, we didn't really know who was going to take either championship. So what an exciting time. But as you say, it is sad because that is the end of season 10, and it's going to be a little while till there'll be APC race in action again, and we will give you more information on that a little bit later. But I'm looking forward to this one. You know, the likes of Dan Riley tend to go well here, Chenkovan, and even, you know, we've got some of the fast running, for the world, I say spectators, reserves here as well. So looking forward to seeing what this one's going to throw up.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. And Aaron Petho, already out of the qualifying session. I'll throw you down to trackside now so we can see exactly what's going on down on the road. And, well, it's, well, of course, at night here in Abu Dhabi. So we're going to be seeing lots of racing under the lights. And all of the drivers will be under the cosh by one particular man who's been hiding the entire season. We've managed to grab him along. Welcome to the commentary box to Junutsi, who'll be joining us as race controller. Ted Kravitz, but of course, he's the head steward for this season. I mean, it's not an easy job being a steward, is it? Especially in a league like this.
Good evening, all. Thank you. Just before we start, thank you for allowing me to join for the comms. Really appreciate it. And yeah, going to your question, Joseph. Yeah, it is definitely a tough thing to do, especially when there's controversy for positions in the championship for the constructors. Yeah, your job is not easy, and unfortunately, in some cases, you can't please everyone, but it's ensuring that incidents are taken fairly unequal and to, well, what can I say, not really make everyone as happy as possible.
Yeah, it's not about pleasing everybody, it's about making the right decision. It's a difficult job, one that I certainly couldn't do. As you mentioned, the championship, and we may as well throw it up now. We have, of course, our championship victor. That'll be Andrea Chenkovan with 285 points at the very top of the field. Almost 100 now ahead of Ollie Matthews, who was the last driver in contention. Owen Boldero finds himself in third place, 156 points. And that will be a decent chunk back from his teammate Matthews. An even bigger chunk back from Chenkovan, but only 14 ahead of Lucas Erasini for third place, which could be a fight that could go on later on, but it's not as close as the fight for fifth place. Ethan Shackleton in fifth place, but, well, he joined Tom Points with him, but Shackleton, with better finishes, has managed to make his way ahead. Alexis Mason, 101 points in 7th place, over double what Paul Garang has in 8th, and then Aaron Petho 9th, Dan Riley rounding out the top 10, Regan Harding in 11th, then Connor Stewart-Woodard, Ellen Berlink, Brian Moore, Matthew Gatches, Harrison Robinson, Leandro Ratu, Alexandro Vicol, Aria Stone and Ollie Corlett rounding out the 20 drivers that we've had throughout the course of the season. It's been great to see a very full championship indeed. And, well, in the constructors, we have Ferrari with 416 points. Of course, our champions. They won it last time out with Aston Martin, the only ones able to keep in the fight. They will be just under 80 points ahead of Racing Bulls in third place. Mercedes and Williams locked in battle for 4th and 5th. And then Haas in 6th on 64. Kick Sauber and McLaren the last teams with points. But of course McLaren have no drivers. So they'll not be taking to the circuit here tonight to challenge for that 7th place in the constructors. But with just over 13 minutes left on the clock, Kyle, we've got laps coming in all around, and it's Alexis Mason once again at the top of the field.
Yeah, strange one. Just on board of Ollie Matthews, he has no front wing at all. I have no idea how that's happened. It's not the visual glitch because the nose cone's there. There's no front wing, and I don't know what to make of that. So very odd. Andrew Chenkovan, he's on an outlap, gone straight back into the pit lane. No idea if he's going to do a last to first challenge this time out. He's been doing those the last few races, so he may well try and do that again. And he's obviously won the 2 times that he's done that. So no doubt if he does do it again, there's a good chance of him winning again. So no idea what Ollie Matthews. He seems to be trying to put a lap in, although it looks like he's backing out now. But yeah, no, that was an accident because he started the lap again. He lost the front wing midway through a lap and then still started another lap. So I assume this is on purpose, just having a bit of fun for the final race. But we'll have to wait and see. So just talking about the drivers then, we've got Ollie Corlett, who has a exam, and it's an exam coming up this week. So he's decided that he's not. No, it wasn't an exam. That was someone else. He's been asked to do a night shift. That was it. He's done a night shift, so he's not driving today, and his seat has been taken up by Aaron Petho, who went to reserve not too long ago in the season, and he's not driving that car. Aaron Petho does have a qualifying ban hanging over him, which is why he's retired from the race. Andrew Chenkovan does decide he's going to do a last to first. I think he did a lap to maybe, I don't know, stay ahead of Regan. I'm not too sure. We'll see what Regan does. And then Bert Welly also is not driving today, and his seat is being taken up by Alexis Mason, to the delight of Luca Seracini when he heard. So they're going to be a formidable force, those RBs today, and hopefully they'll work together and see if finally this season one of them, well, not one of them because that's said it before, but Luca may well finish ahead of Andrew Chenkovan.
Yeah, he may well not do, and that would be very interesting indeed. We will see what happens. Of course, Luca got very close to victories a couple of times this season, and he'll be hoping to do the same thing again. It almost destroys the sanctity, really, of Aaron Petho's qualifying ban that Andrew Chenkovan has had to retire, or has decided to retire from the session. He will be starting behind Petho. The reason he went out for a lap is just to make sure that he's registered, just to make sure everything's working as well. There's a couple of reasons for it, but that is the main one that the Ferrari driver has done. But yeah, we will see what will happen with both of those drivers. And if Regan Harding doesn't set a time, he's retired. So he's actually disconnected from the session, which has retired him. But that means Regan will be starting from the back. Andrew Chenkovan will be alongside him on that row. And Aaron Petho, with the qualifying ban, lucky to get into the top 10. See, I'm just wondering, have you got any more information on this from Aaron?
I've seen the microphone symbol come off, but I can't hear any
about
voice.
Aaron Petho's qualifying ban. We can't hear you currently, Janetsi. That's fine. Anyway, I know he's having problems with his headset. So we'll continue on. Hopefully we can get a bit more information about that one later on. Connor Stewart Woodard around the final corner to set his first lap time on the board. It's 1:24.369. And it's been an interesting season for Connor, really, considering, I mean, of course, the way that things have gone for himself. He's fighting with Brian Moore at the back of the championship. He's fighting with Regan Harding and Dan Riley and Aaron Petho and Ellen Belink and Matthew Gatches and Harrison Robinson to stay within the top 10. I'd say Paul Grome might be a little bit too far ahead of Petho for them to get up to 8th place, but there's pretty much 2 places up for grabs there.
Yeah, I mean, Connor's, I think his goal was to, well, the top 10 if ideally, but at least the left-hand side of the page, which is a term you hear used quite a lot in Eurovision. Something that happened, of course, last weekend. What a crazy one that was. But yeah, he has flirted with the left of the page quite a few times, which for anyone who can't remember the graphic, it's down to 11th position. He's currently sat in 12th, so he's 6 points behind Regan Harding, as you can see on your screen. He's not far off. Regan is the benchmark. Regan is the person on the bottom of the left-hand side of the graphic. So Connor wants to try and get ahead of Regan. Regan now starting from the very back. It means Connor does have a chance. But of course, Brian Moore, he too would want to try and do the same. He needs 10 though. So a bigger ask to get ahead of Regan for Brian Moore. But may potentially get ahead of his teammate. If Connor has a bad run, then Brian may well jump ahead of him. Regan fighting Dan Riley really today, and Aaron Petho. I didn't think Aaron Petho was going to be here. It was quite a last minute decision, so good to see him here, as that is quite a hot battle for 9th, and I am looking forward to seeing who's going to come off on top I'm about to say how many laps there are, but I do not know how many laps are left. But as Owen Baldero is now going for another lap himself, will his teammate eventually get a lap in and maybe go further up the grid?
Well, we will see, of course. Owen Baldero at the moment in the fight for the top few positions is what he's going to try and do. I can hear myself through your mic, Januzzi, so just an FYI for that one. But yeah, it's going to be interesting indeed to see how Owen Baldero does it across the course of today, because of course there are stakes up and down the order as well, and well, for Owen Baldero, he's going to be 14 points ahead of Lucas Erracini in the battle for third, and well, he's in a decent position, I think it's fair to say, in terms of the points, but Lucas Erracini is going to be right at the very top of the order. He's 5 tenths ahead of his teammate in second place, and well, of course, Owen Baldero further down in fifth. What can he do as he comes up to the line? It's going to be a 1:23.346. Closer to the top of the field, but with probably about 1 lap to go. With 7 minutes left in this session, he goes very wide. We will see what will happen as Daniel Rowley, as you say, he's a big fan of this circuit, and he throws himself up to second.
Yeah, apologies to cutting you there. I realised I did that thing again where I made that noise, sounded like there was an incident, and I realised I didn't want you to throw to me because there wasn't something going on, so I just mentioned it was Daniel Riley. But Daniel Riley always goes very well here, and I will try for the rest of the stream not to make the ooh sound anytime something happens, unless there is actually something big to talk about. But yes, as you say, Daniel Riley always goes well here, and of course he's driving for the Mercedes team, who are level on points with of Williams team, and with the Williams team only having 1 driver this week, the replacement Williams driver unfortunately has decided that he doesn't want to take part, so it's just Regan who is starting P last, so not ideal when you've got 2 Mercedes starting in 2nd and 5th. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that one's going to end, but I think it's probably looking like it's going very much one way unless both Mercedes have issues, which is not unforeseen this season. They've both struggled, so it can well happen. I did have a bit of information. I don't know. I can't remember. Oh, that was it. Andrew Chenkovan. Yes, he did a lap to obviously make sure his setup stuck, but I am now aware that he also gave his teammate Ethan Shackleton a tow. So that was really good of him. He obviously wants to give Ethan Shackleton a chance to go higher up the order, as Ethan Shackleton has a battle of his own this season.
Yeah, he certainly does, and I'm going to try and make sure, because I've absolutely nailed the graphics so far. I have nailed it once again. He's going to be level on points with Bert Welly, 106 for 5th place, and they're going to try to contest it out throughout the course of the rest of the season. Regan Harding's back in the session. He will not be happy with the fact that he's starting last, but there's only so much that you can do about it. But yeah, Shackleton will be wanting to fight with, or at least pick up a point, because Bert Welly, of course, is not racing today in the final round of the campaign. So Shackleton will want to finish first, and well, after that, he'll make sure that he can get into the points. Aaron Petho, of course, I mentioned he had a qualifying ban, so he wasn't able to take part in this session, so he's not going to finish the qualifying, and hope to finish the race. Junitsi knows a little bit more.
Hello, right. Sorry about that, guys. Just technical difficulties from my headset. I hope that's a bit better. But yes, I have got an update for you from that instance. So from not the last race, but the race before that, what happened was the race start that involved Aaron, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, was against Ellen Bolink. Again, apologies if I have said that wrong. But what happened at the race start was Aaron did not get a great start off the launch of his grid box. Ellen overtook Aaron, and going into turn 1, Aaron broke too late, went deep, and forced Ellen off to lose a few positions and cause or get, should I say correctly, an illegal overtake. So that is why I gave 1 penalty point for Aaron, which caused him to get a quali ban for this race. Yeah,
of course. Thank you very much for that insight, as always. And as you say, one extra penalty point for himself, which is not very ideal. That does take him to the title for a qualifying ban. He is level with Matthew Gatches in terms of that, but of course Matthew Gatches not racing anymore. One of a rotating cast of characters who raced in that Williams this year. Ollie Matthews has been pretty consistent in his racing for Aston Martin. Him and his teammate have worked pretty well so far throughout the course of the campaign, but well, he's currently in 8th place, not where he would have wanted to qualify.
No, and everybody's in the pits now, so this is the point where we have to just fill a gap for the next, I'd probably say about 40 seconds. I think they'll start going out with around 2 minutes left to go. So, not where he'd want to qualify for sure, but there's time for him to go again. He obviously had a bad lap. He would not have been able to finish that lap, do an in lap, and then do another out lap and then another fast lap. So he obviously made a decision to abandon that lap and give it his all on his final attempt. But yeah, I mean, being sandwiched between kick Sauber bread is not something that I think he would have expected this season. So we'll have to wait and see if he can improve as some cars do start going out on the grid. But yeah, it's you wouldn't be happy about that at all. At the top, Daniel Riley is currently sandwiched between the two RBs. So he's it's very close up there. I just noticed how close there was. It's 2 tenths between first and third. So that is going to be a spicy one towards the end. And that is something I'm going to be keeping a keen eye on, as both RBs are actually the first drivers out on track. So this is going to be fun to watch. It looks like Alexis Mason is in the pink livery, the one that Bert normally runs. So we've got to identify them, as they actually have let the Aston Martin of Owen Baldero through. So Owen Baldero will be the first one to settle that. So yeah, these laps are going to start coming in. They're going to come in thick and fast. They're all going to come in very much last minute. And I'm hoping that someone's going to throw a surprise. I see one of the Saubers has now gone into second place, not second place on the qualifying, but second place on the road. So I'm hoping someone's going to throw a surprise. It's the final race of the season. I want somebody to do something that's really going to throw the spanner in the works, and we're going to go, what are they doing there? And then yeah, it's going to be a fun race with Chenki at the back and Aaron Petho, and is that Alexis Mason going into the support pits? I don't know what is going on there. She's having some fun. Everyone's having some fun. Hopefully that fun will last all the way to the checkered flag.
I'm sure we'll be seeing lots of donuts at the end of the race as well.
I hope so.
Well, of course, we will see a great celebration for this season number 10 of APC. Season 10, Season X is kind of like an earmarked season, as it were. And well, unfortunately for Ethan Shackleton, it's been his worst season since he joined APC. He is, of course, one of the OGs, and he'll be hoping to do a little bit better today. He will be pretty much, if he gets any points, he'll be taking 5th place. But of course, he has to get there first. He has to finish a race, and well, it'll be his lowest ever championship finish for a full contested season since joining APC. So there you go, folks. But we've got one more lap for all of the drivers to get in. I don't think all of them are going to make it. I think that might be Paul Garung, who's going to run out of time. Ethan Shackleton's just beat the beam, and Garung's still heading around the penultimate corner, so he will not be setting a lap time in this qualifying session. He'll be starting from a peak of 5th. Ethan Shackleton 6/10 off the back. I'm not sure how well he's going to challenge, but he's going to give it a go here in this final part of this qualifying session. Lucas Aracini, what can he do in the first sector? He was already leading. I'd imagine he still needs to find some more time with the way that this track evolves throughout the course of a qualifying session. He set that lap really early on. Dan Riley got close to him, and at the end of the second sector, what is Seracini, able to do? It's going to be 0.037 down on his previous time. Having a look at more of the drivers who are going to be coming to the end of their laps, it will be Owen Baldero next to it. 0.3 of a second is what he's improved on his time by, but there's a big gap between himself and Mason. Where is the Aston Martin going to be able to put himself? It will be a 1:22.899. It's a good lap, not good enough to go to the top of the field. 0.3 improvement as well from Connor Stewart-Woodard, and then eyes turn to Lucas Aracini around the final corner. He will improve. That is 0.2 of a second found in that final sector from Seracini. 0.6, 1.3 found by Matthew. 0.6 alone in the final sector. That's a great lap time. It's up to 5th place. Alexis Mason improving enough to go onto the front row. Might not be enough to take the top spot. It won't be, but it will be front row. And, well, Dan Riley is consigned to 3rd place. So it's a V-Carb 1-2 at the top of the field. Dan Riley in a surprise third place, and then Owen Boldero in fourth. Ollie Matthews takes home fifth place, and Paul Garung in sixth. Ethan Shackleton in seventh, then Connor Stewart-Woodard and Brian Moore. The two kicks Alberts at the back of the qualifying order. Aaron Petho in 10th place, Andrea Chenkvan in 11th, and Regan Harding frustrated to be back at the back of the field in 12th and final spot. But yeah, Lucas Erosini, that is great for him on the front row, and Alexis Mason, I'm sure, will give him a fight.
Oh, drama, Mick. What was going on there? I mean, for some I've obviously messed up this graphic because for some reason the flag of the UAE keeps disappearing after 1 second. I have no idea how I've managed that. Well, I mean, I know how I've managed that, but I don't know how I let that go through quality control. But yeah, that was absolute drama. I mean, Paul Garung did not make the line. That was the thing I think I most unexpected, or the thing I least expected. That's what I was going for from that session. So yeah, I don't know what happened there. And then some great improvements. What an improvement for Lucas Erosini. He needed at the right time because Alexis Mason was also going extremely fast. So what good timing that was from Lucas Erosini. Is this going to be the one? So one thing to note for the viewers at home, the drivers are all in a VC together for the first time in ABC history. They're all in one voice channel and they're all speaking to each other. So I popped in there before we went live and just basically said, if you've got any chance of beating Andrea Chenkvan, the drivers at the top need to not fight and actually work together to not bring Andrea back into the DRS train. So whether they listen to me, I do not know. We will see what happens, but there could be a new winner here today.
We are trackside now for the final race of the season. The sun is going to go down. The sun is going to set on our race and on our season as well, which will make for a great end to the season indeed. And it's a fitting end. The sun coming down and, you know, the curtain coming down on the season as well. We're going to have 12 drivers racing here today. And, of course, a VCARB 1-2. It'll be very interesting indeed to see what will happen. I don't actually have access to this to this voice chat, so I can't see who's in it and see who's omitted themselves. But Januzzi can, and he's heard a few things from a couple of the drivers.
Hi guys, yes, back again. So I just wanted an update on Luca, the pole sitter, and as I would have thought, he is delighted with that pole. I asked him as well whether he thought it would be a bit more of a challenge for that pole position, or if he thought the gap was going to be further. And he said he was quite surprised that some of the drivers were not as close to him, mentioning like the top three, thinking they would be within like half a tenth or a quarter of a tenth, and Ollie Matthews as well, who's had a good season as well. Finish was it P5 if I remember correctly in qualifying. Thinking he would be closer, but well, it's not points in quali, it's points in the race you get.
It certainly is, and the driver's setting off for the formation lap now, and it's going to be interesting to see how this man does. Lucas Erosini at the front of the field. His championship finishes so far. He joined in season 7, and he got 11th. Then season 8, he got 9th. Season 9, he was back to 11th. But he's had a sensational season, hasn't he, Kyle?
It really has. What a massive improvement as he's joined the Aston Martin formation this week out. He's decided he's had enough of sitting behind the green cars. He's going to sit beside them. Let's see if all three of those make it back in one piece. But yeah, it's been so good to see. We saw him switch off assist midway through last season. He went a bit backwards and then slowly started building his confidence back up and started coming further and further towards the front of the grid. And he has mounted a fantastic charge this season. It almost feels like he should be higher than 4th position, but unfortunately the Aston Martins have just been that bit quicker. But he deserves all the points he can get, as Alexis Mason is also joining in this 4-car formation. What a way to end the season. We love it. And Alexis, I think, might have just been tapped there by a Mercedes. Let's see if they get reset to the grid. They have been reset to the grid. So Paul Garung said, I don't think so, Alexis. You're in my way. And then, yeah, so Paul Garung is not in that chat. You should be able to see who's in that chat now, Joseph. He's not in that chat, so she won't be able to shout at him for that. But yeah, that is not ideal. But it serves them right for doing the formation. Just that was obviously a word on Luca. Just quickly on Ethan Shackleton that we alluded to a bit earlier. This will be his worst championship position. Of course, 5th place is not a bad place to be by any means. You know, there's a lot of good drivers here. 20 good drivers have raced this season. So 5th place isn't bad, but he joined in end of season 2, so we won't count that. But season 3, he came second. Season 4, he won the championship. And then he was season 5, 6, 7, he was second again. And then he finished 4th in season 8 because Wongsarat Reversi and Aaron McGurk were here. And they obviously were absolutely rapid. And then finished second again last season. So he's mostly second. Oh, I actually didn't realise I actually made that graphic. I thought I'd made that in my head. See, there we go. So, yeah, he won the championship season 4. Came 4th is his worst so far. But he's been consistently runner-up every season until this season. So he won't be disappointed with being 5th. But he'll be disappointed, I think, just with not being as high as usual. But we're getting ready now for the 5 red lights.
We certainly are. The lights are going to come on in front of the drivers for the final time in season number 10. 14 races after we kicked off. The lights are on, the drivers are ready, and the action gets underway now. It's a sluggish start from Alexis Mason on the front row. She'll be challenged by Daniel Riley into the first corner, and in fact, she might go to the inside line of Seracini. It's side-by-side between Boldero and Riley for second place. It's side-by-side for first between the two teammates. Seracini's going to run a little bit wide to try to defend the position, and he does so, holding onto it, and Dan Riley now challenging with Alexis Mason, who focused too much on that fight for the lead and is going to drop back into formation. And Riley on the inside, it might be an opportunity for Owen Boldero as well as they continue to bump wheels as they head down the next straight. The back straight opens up the opportunity for Owen Boldero to go to the inside. Alexis Mason might send it late on Riley, so Boldero backs out, and she does, into turn number 6 and out of turn 7. She's going to get the exit, and she's going to pick up that position as well. Owen Boldero going to ride on board with him now as he tries to chase down these two. Ollie Matthews trying to provide a rear guard as well for them, and Boldero might get both of them, but no. Riley tucked to the outside very, very late, caught Alexis Mason off guard, and almost took that position. In the meantime, Andrea Schenkovan all the way up to 7th, and Ethan Shackleton dropping down positions. He's alongside Aaron Petho and is going to send it to the inside, but doesn't make the move just yet. We're going to end the first lap with Luca Seracini 1.6 up.
What a spicy start that is. Luca Seracini, 2 seconds away. No idea if Alexis is doing this on purpose. There may well be there's a universe where Alexis Mason has said, you know what, I'm going to come in as reserve and I'm going to help Luca Seracini win this race for the first time ever. Or there's a universe where she's just put herself in a bit of a bad position. She's fighting hard with Dan Riley and was Owen Boldero, and there goes Dan Riley into the wall. That is a bad way to end your race for the final race here in APC.
The Middle East merchant out of the race. Daniel Riley is out on the second lap, and we've got our first safety car coming out of the pit lane. And so we will see for hopefully one final time in the Almost Pro Championship in Season 10. Of course, we don't wish a safety car on anybody, as Owen Boldero is going to get a 10-second time penalty for ignoring yellow flags. We got it. We nailed it straight away. The graphics today have been insane. Thank you very much to everybody for your compliments on it. And, well, we've got lap number 2. So Luca Seracini's gap was not... He wasn't able to make the most of it. But, I mean, the nature of this is going to spice this race up even more than it was on lap 1.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say before I was really interrupted by Daniel flying into a wall. The fighting between Owen and Dan and Alexis meant that Ollie Matthews sent a crazy dive up the inside of his teammate. I think they just about got away with it. I think I've got a good shot for the replay cameras, and if they have, that will be getting shown right now in the post version. But as you say, bit disappointing for Luca Seracini to have pulled out such a gap. That's not what he wanted to see. He'll be hoping that Alexis Mason will stay out the pits, which she does, and will help him do that all over again. It's going to be Owen Boldero and Aaron Petho who are going to pick for some fresh tyres. They both started on the medium tyres, so not a crazy strategy, but the medium tyres remain on both RBs and Ollie Matthews' car. Hard tyres for Orgeron. He's the lead hard tyre runner with both Ferraris in hard tyres behind. And Connor Stewart Woodard doing the Chenky strat. So, I mean, doing the strategy that Andrew Chenkovan does could never be a bad thing. But not 100% sure if that will pay off for him. But, yeah, I'd be interested to see, interested to know what the opinion is on that. Yeah, well, hopefully we'll find out very soon.
Well, we've got a couple of opinions coming in from the first couple of laps. One very opinionated woman that tends to have a lot of opinions, and we're going to get a couple of those now. Januzzi has been in their VC.
Hi guys, yeah, just a few updates after the first 2 laps of the racing. So when approaching the hairpin, Alexis, I could tell from her tone of voice, wasn't happy after being shoved off by one of the Aston Martins. I couldn't recall who it was, so I'm just going to say one of the Aston Martin drivers. So it will be a possible incident that will be put in after the race. And then what happened with Alexis and pardon if I got this right, Daniel Riley. It looked a bit quiet from Alexis, not mentioning anything after that, didn't give a reason on what happened, so potentially Alexis could accept a penalty after this race.
Yes, of course, that is if it is going to be reported, which of course some drivers tend not to do in the Almost Pro Championship, of course, because at the end of the day it is a little bit of fun, but sometimes people can take it just over the line, and it's up to the drivers to see whether they report or not. And I know there's been a few debates throughout the course of the season on that, which in previous seasons there hasn't been. I mean, the season I joined, which was that season 8 now, where I was in the booth for the first time, there was basically no reports ever, so your job would have been really easy. But now, of course, we very much appreciate the work that you do for the league, and it's one of those things that you need, but you can never really truly have. So we're very lucky to have you, of course, in the league. So thank you very much for all of your hard work. We've got 3 drivers on the medium tyres at the top of the field. We've got 2 drivers who came into the pits as well. Petho and Boldero both dived in on the first lap. Technically, sticking by the rules, they can go to the end of the race.
Yeah. By the letter of the rules, they can. Whether they can hold on to the tyres long enough is going to be a different story. I'm going to say they can't, but I've been proven wrong in the past. But I think that's a big ask. But I think they want to look at track position with a potential another safety car later this lap, as a safety car will be coming in very shortly. I was just laughing because there is a live debate happening in the drivers' channel, and we'll go back to Giannuzzi a little bit later on, just after we get the restart done. So hopefully he can unpick that, because they are having an argument about that incident. So that'll be funny to listen to. And just to back up what you said there, Joseph, obviously Giannuzzi's role, it would be extremely difficult to do this job and to run this league without his role. So he is very much appreciated, and we are very happy that he's here. He's obviously supported by Entok, another one of our stewards, but ultimately Giannuzzi is in charge of that team, and he makes sure we get really good and fair results. But I will stop waffling, because it's almost time to go for the green flag once again, with Luca heading the field.
Lucas Erasini weaving his way towards the final corner, and after the final corner he will put the power down, and I'd imagine he'll go straight away here, and indeed he is going to. We're back to green flag racing here in the Almost Pro Championship, and Alexis Mason has been able to keep with her teammate, but Ollie Matthews in third place has not been able to. There's about 7/10 of a difference between the top 3 drivers at the moment, and most of that is coming with Ollie Matthews. Further down the order, it's wide from Aaron Petho on the restart. He's not been able to have a great one, and so he's going to be challenging with Brian Moore as much as he can. But, of course, Owen Boldero will be giving him a go as well. It's side-by-side for Regan Harding and Connor Stewart-Woodard. And Regan, who's been complaining about brake problems all race long, has just seen himself fall foul of that. Off of the road and down all the way to last. But we might get 3 wide in the foreground. Moore, Petho and Boldero, but Boldero stays in behind. It's the inside line for Petho. He's definitely going to go for this move, and Brian Moore is definitely going to fight him back. Over the curb he goes. There's contact. There's an end plate off for the Haas driver, but Boldero has been able to make his way through in the meantime. He's in 8th. And now Brian Moore drops down to 9th, but Aaron Petho will not be happy with that. and I'd imagine he's going to try to fight soon.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not going great for Aaron's return. He's been away for a few races. He's going to reserve, and he's back, and it's not going his way. He's having some issues there with Brian Moore. Connor Stewart-Woodard, 7th place, but he has fallen off 1.5 seconds in one lap, so he's not going to be too pleased about that. We did get the Regan lockup on the replay cameras, so we get to relive that all over again and see what the hell happened. But bit of a messy restart then. Obviously, cautions breed cautions, as we hear quite a lot more in the IndyCar scene, but it does ring true in Formula 1 as well. But yeah, there's two trains. There's the Owen Boldero train, as he's just got ahead of Connor Stewart-Woodard. He is obviously on fresher tyres and he'll be trying to come through. And then there's the train for the lead, which he's not going to be happy about this, but Andrew Chenkovan is in that.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be too many of the drivers happy with Andrew Chenkovan being able to make his way through. I think the idea is that they try to hold off Chenkovan as much as they can, and then they delay his way through. But it seems to be the case that the last 3 races where he's gone last to first, he's made it relatively easy. There's a late lunge even from Shackleton. Contact between himself and Gurung, and that means that there was a little bit of damage. Can't quite see who that was on, but it was certainly Paul Gurung's fault, and the game has recognised that one. There is an end plate off for Ollie Matthews just ahead, so that's not going to be very useful, especially around the final sector where it is tight and it is twisty, and there's not many opportunities to overtake. But what there is lots of opportunities to lose time, and that's what the drivers missing end plates will be doing around the final sector. But they will gain a little bit of time in the second sector down towards turn number 6 because of the fact that they've got such a long back straight, and they've got a little bit better straight line speed because of the fact they're missing a wing. So the better the downforce for them, for those drivers. Is another late lunge from Ethan Shackleton. This time he gets it done on Paul Gurung, but he doesn't get a great exit. Gurung does, and Shackleton has been spun around.
Yeah, that was not a good late lunge, so I had to do it from Ethan Shackleton there. Yeah, he's gone facing the wrong way, so yeah, a bit of a late lunge that didn't quite pull off. Another one that he did pull off, and then completely messed it up on exit. He must have been so surprised that he was able to pull that one off, that he put too much throttle down and spun it. How he kept it out the wall, I cannot tell you. That was a great save from Ethan Shackleton. But this is not doing good for his chances of taking 5th place in the championship for season number 10. Paul Gurung has now fallen behind Owen Boldero, as is Andrew Chenkovan, on the back of Alexis Mason. Alexis has now fallen off the back of Luca Serafini. So let's see if she does play the reserve team player game as Dan Riley leaves the session. He doesn't want to watch this anymore. And try and hold off Andrew Chenkovan. Not a lot of places to do it here, though. It's a big, wide open track. And no, she makes that very easy. No, Andrew's gone wide, so I take that back. She did make it rather easy, but she probably realised that Andrew was going to run wide there. And realised that she could back out. The two kicksaddles are going at it. This, for them, they're not really fighting. I mean, they have got, obviously, positions they can gain up ahead, but they're not really fighting in the Teams Championship. They might as well have a bit of fun. They might as well battle it out on track to see which one of those can finish ahead of the other one. But yeah, battles all round. Regan Harding struggling to get back on par. Paul Gurung also. Ollie Matthews is just hanging on to Andrea's DRS here. I'm not sure if he's going to get it on the next lap, but yeah, this one's not going to be over until it's over. There's a lot of fighting still to happen, and a lot of little championship battles still to hold up. But yeah, I don't know much who to watch. It looks like there's a lot of Noah's Arking going on once again, which is always fun to see. Of course, there is only one Haas in the race. There's only one Williams in the race, and there's only one Mercedes in the race. So the only drivers who are letting us down right now are the Ferraris, and one of those Ferraris set a yellow flag in the first sector. Don't know what happened there. But as we go down the long back straight, there's the Aston Martin swap positions. Will the kick salvo of Connor Stewart-Woodard get ahead of Regan?
Yeah, he's going to give it a go, I think. 5/10 off of the back, but of course the two leaders as well very, very close together. Is Alexis Mason going to try something on Luca Serafini? It doesn't look like just yet is going to be the idea. Paul Gurung has a bit of breathing space now in 6th place, but Ethan Shackleton hoping to rebuild that time and catch up into the top 10. Of course, don't forget the stakes at hand. If he takes 1 point, he will stay ahead of Burt Welly, confirmed. We can go down to, of course, the head steward of the league and also our race control tonight, Januzzi, for his opinion on that incident.
Hello guys, yeah, so I only just managed to catch that just in the nick of time. So usually from a race perspective, you don't usually see overtaken moves at the final corner of Abu Dhabi. But looking from that, it was a very unfortunate incident that occurred for Shackleton to spin out. But I'm not going to comment too much on that. I'm not going to say who was at fault, because I just couldn't see how it happened in the nick of time. So I'll be seeing if an incident does come in, and hopefully we'll get more information for you guys on that.
Yes, thank you very much for Junitsi for that. Of course, he is helping us out today with being down in the pit lane, understanding what the drivers are going to be looking for and talking about, and hopefully he'll have some drama for us to talk about later on in the race. But now, lap 9 and 29, we're about a third of the way through it, and Ethan Shackleton, I can't speak, once again has had a problem, and I've cut over to him and I've missed a swap for the race leader. Looks like Lucas Erasini has just passed it over to Alexis Mason because of the DRS helping the pink V-carb, and so she is going to be taking that lead of the race. Andrea Chenkvan, though, waiting right in behind. He's got a great opportunity here today, and he's the only person ever to win 4 championships in APC. This is a landmark season for him, really, as he's been able to surpass Stuart Towers.
Indeed, and I did try to get Stuart Towers to join us as Andrew Chenkvan dives for the pit lane. He's on a hard tyre, so this is a different strategy. 2-stop coming in, I imagine, for Andrew Chenkvan, but that is not something I expected. It does say on my screen that the pit window is open for the hard tyres, but it still feels extremely early. You'll be doing more than half the race on the medium tyres if he tries to go to the end, but I'm assuming it'd be a 2-stop. But yes, I did try and get Stuart Towers to join us today. I wanted to try and get an interview with him just to almost symbolically hand over the baton, as it were, even though they were joined on championships last time out. I wanted to, to kind of get his opinion on Andrea Chenkvan and the pace that the Ferrari driver has shown since joining the league. He's obviously only ever been in the Ferraris since doing the full season. Will he be in the Ferrari again next season? I mean, we will find a bit later. In fact, I'll explain that shortly, but what I'm talking about. But yeah, Stuart Towers unfortunately wasn't able to join us. He's working this evening, but hopefully maybe we'll get him in the season 11 pre-season show if we can, and just explain what I'm talking about here. For the first time ever, the drivers do not know where they're driving for next season. So the way it works is that if you're a current driver, you get first refusal on whether you stay at a team or not, and if you say you want to change teams and then somebody else gets to choose your team, it's a bit more complicated than that, but basically you get to choose your team and stay in your team if you're a current driver. If you choose another team, as long as nobody else wants it, you get to have it, basically. It's the short of it. They've all done that. They've all done all the silly season. It's finished. It's closed for the current drivers, and for the first time we're going to reveal it live on stream. The drivers are not going to know. They don't know yet, and they'll find out when you find out, when we reveal it after the race. And that is going to be fun, because when we go to the interviews, we'll get some live reaction on where they are next season. Of course, some drivers did get the teams that they asked for, some didn't. It's just the way it works, unfortunately. So we'll be looking forward to finding out what their opinions are.
We will certainly be looking forward to that one indeed. And, well, we've got some drivers that have worked incredibly well as teammates throughout the course of the season. I'd say that Burt Welly and Lucas Erasini have been very, very good teammates indeed to each other. Of course, the two Ferraris, as always, even if Ethan Shackleton has not been able to hold a candle to Chenkvan this season, he has still helped out where he possibly can, but he has given it a go, and unfortunately is not able to do so at the moment. But speaking of Lucas Erasini, speaking of good teammates as well, it's the two Aston Martins that have been headlining, really, in terms of how to work together as a team. Boldero sacrificed a couple of his races for Ollie Matthews to make sure that he could have his championship charge alive, and at the moment it looks like Boldero is trying to make sure that Ollie Matthews is staying within the DRS of him, so that he can stay within the DRS of Lucas Erasini, who looks like he might be holding these drivers up for the purposes of Alexis Mason. We have a little bit more information about Owen as we head down trackside to Junetsi.
Hi again. Yeah, just a small update. Yeah, Owen has said he's just been struggling with his ERS management, not being able to make an overtake. Someone did jokingly say that if they were struggling mentally or physically, but no, he had to correct everyone and just say, no, it's just ERS management. So firstly, I'm glad Owen is okay physically and mentally. Just hope he can get his ERS management back up to 100%.
Yeah, and of course, Owen Boldero seems to always seem to always have lots of thoughts and opinions about this game and about every single race that he does. So it doesn't surprise me that he's sharing that information with the class, and he's made his way through on Luca Serafini, eventually up into second place. Serafini just waiting in behind for the time being. He's going to be about 4/10 off of the back of Boldero now, and I think he's going to be able to make his way past if those rumours about the ERS management are true. But of course he is on a set of the hard compound tyres that are a little bit older than, or a little bit younger than Serafini's even, but of course they will be much older by the end of the race. You've done races around here, Kyle, if you don't mind me bringing up the graphic one more time. You seem to be the only one with credentials. I wonder who made the graphic, as in comes Alexis Mason. In comes Luca Serafini as well, the two V-carbs double stacking. I don't think that's been communicated, but in terms of tyre management here around Abu Dhabi, just how?
Just to be clear, I'm the only one with credentials because I'm the only driver of the three of us in this championship. But I'll remove them next time. But yes, it's one stop for me always here at Abu Dhabi. I've just always, it's usually this strategy. I think mediums are hard about that 13 stop. That's just usually how I've always gone, and as you know, I mean, I that tends to be the one thing that I can actually do well. So I hold on to that. Now, Andrew Jenkovan, we've seen pull some master strokes on time management before. So whether he's going to do that again, I don't know. I mean, right now, the strategy looks in the favour of the RBs, more so Alexis Mason as they double stacked for some unknown reason. But they should be able to start hunting Andrew down, and then Andrew should then fall further back in the field when he goes for a second stop. In fact, he's on the medium tyres. Yeah, I just can't see them lasting. I mean, if anyone can do it, it's going to be Andrew Jenkovan, but it's a big ask even for the four-time APC champion. So we'll have to wait and see. I think, yeah, the strategy that the RBs are on is the right one. Of course, let's not forget, Owen Boldero stopped under safety car, so he is on fresher hard tyres than the rest of the, well, yeah, then what am I talking about? His tyres are younger, that's what I was going for, than the drivers who have just stopped. Well, the tyres they took off. But he will need to stop again as well. Those hard tyres are not going towards the end. Lucas Serafini all over the back of Ollie Matthews, who has stopped. They are on the same tyres. In fact, Ollie Matthews has one lap older tyres. So Luca looks like the faster driver here. However, I don't know what happened to Luca's pace in that first stint. He was comfortably leading at the front. The minute his teammate, or his temporary teammate, Alexis Mason, got ahead, he just dropped off. Owen Boldero breezed past, and then we didn't see anything from Luca ever again. So hopefully he'll pick it back up now, although it does look like he is stuck behind Ollie Matthews. Does Ollie Matthews still have that damage? He does still have that end plate damage. Whether that's affecting him or not, I don't know. But Luca will be hoping to make a nice clean overtake down this long back straight and then off into the distance.
Yeah, he'll be hoping to make his way through, and he's going to give it a go here down towards turn number 6. So of course, a little bit of desync not helping with our view of the move, but it's not going to be a move right now. Luca Serafini just staying behind as Ollie Matthews having a little bit of a lock-up, and you can see the exit that Serafini gets out of 6. It's almost too good to be true, and it's certainly too good to make the move on Ollie Matthews, who had a poor one out of turn 7, just trying to make sure that he gets the turn in. Serafini staying behind for the time being. I think he's just squandered what might be his best chance for a couple of laps, but here comes another one. Matthews runs a little bit wide, and this could be where Serafini makes his way through with a switch back into Ronhar corner. He can't quite do it, but he can stay alongside, and they'll head under the tunnel towards Latifi corner. Off of the circuit goes Serafini, so he's going to get a warning for that one. So he's going to want to make this move through, so he can actually make that warning worth something. Through side by side into the final corner. He is going to remain alongside, so it's an entire sector that they will be locked in battle, and it will continue down towards turn number 1, but Matthews just backing out, seeing how much time they're losing. Serafini picks up the place.
I must have missed that memo when those corners got renamed, but that's obviously a me problem. As you say, warning for Luca Serafini for affecting that overtake, so he'll hope that he can make this one count and stay ahead of the Aston Martin. Aston Martin will be looking to come back past that as soon as possible. One thing I will say, I was keeping an eye on their batteries, and they are on their wheel, so I haven't got. I'm not using any special data here. I'm using the information that I can see on stream. Luca does seem to be struggling with battery management. This is why he couldn't get ahead of Ollie, and now couldn't keep Ollie behind. Although look at that exit. Although Ollie got a bad exit, and that's actually squandered the exit that Luca Saraceni got. He will give it a go though, but as I say, he's got 0% battery right now. If I look on board with Ollie Matthews, he's got a little bit to spare. So that's Luca's problem, it would seem. Maybe that's why he fell off behind Alexis Mason, because he doesn't seem to be able to manage his battery. He seems to be constantly below 10%, and he's going to go for a little lunge here. It's going to be the outside, but he's not going to be able to hold it around there. It is off camber. If you try and hold it off, you will do a Latifi, and that's not what he needs to be doing. But yeah, we're doing in this game, when you're, and I'm assuming in real life, probably to some extent, when your battery life is under 10%, and he's using his overtake a lot. Your engine power does decrease, because obviously you don't want the battery to run completely dry, so it does decrease so that you don't utilize all your battery. But that's a 3-second penalty for Connor Stewart-Woodard there. But yeah, Luca does need to get that under control. He needs to sit behind Ollie Matthews now. Use the DRS, because you're faster under DRS. Use that as an opportunity to turn the battery off, recharge, and bring the power back into the battery pack, and have a go on him a little bit later in the race.
It's all about experience, isn't it? It's all about your know-how, and it's all about your mentality into these races. And Saraceni at the moment doesn't look like he wants to yield any time or any position at all to Matthews. I think Ollie Matthews has a little bit more experience under his belt, so he's going to be trying to give it a go, just to be a little bit more patient than Saraceni, if anything. But of course, it might just be the different ways these drivers choose to race. Saraceni's got plenty of experience in the Almost Pro Championship, and he is trying to fight around the outside of Matthews here. They got very close to contact as they headed through the long sweeping left-hander even, but in the end Saraceni is going to be able to hold him off and stay ahead. Late lunge from Matthews. Saraceni allows him the space, and he is going to defend the position in the end. So that is a very, very smart defence from Saraceni. I think it almost caught me, and if not Matthews, off guard with how well that he was able to sort himself out in the final corner, because of course he knows how to race Saraceni. He's done it plenty of times throughout the course of the season, but things can still happen. That can surprise you, and I think that is a prime example of it. But yeah, he stays ahead for the time being, does Saraceni. Third place, and well, he'll try to hold on to it once again, heading down towards turn 5 and heading down towards the next DRS straight. A few more pit stops as well in the meantime. We see Owen Boldero in. Regan Harding joins him.
Yeah, once again on that lap, Luca just was not managing his battery. He was keeping it like pinned. He had overtake on, even though he had DRS and was coming past Ollie very easily. He still decided to use all of his battery just to make sure it happened. So not an ideal racing style from him. Oh, I tell you what, that was a back end loss for Ollie Matthews there, wasn't it? He did not get a great run through there. But it's hard to really get a good exit for anyone out of there. Luca is on the button. He's using all of his battery to try and come back past. Is Ollie going to use any to defend? It would seem he doesn't need it, it would seem. But yeah, Luca will now go ahead. And he's got actually a decent bit of battery now. So maybe he's listening. I don't know. But yeah, not ideal. I tell you what, I told these two, don't fight, because you're going to hand Andrea the win. Have they listened to me? They have not.
Of course not. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to try to race each other how they know they can, and they know how to fight each other pretty well. And well, they'll continue it on. Of course, it's early on in these hard compound tyre stint, but they also need to make them last towards the end of the race. So they've got 11 laps to go in this one. They'll take it to 16 and 17 laps respectively on those hard compound tyres. That going, of course, in descending order with Saraceni with the 16 and Ollie Matthews with the 17, as they're going to have to make them last all the way to the end. A few more time penalties thrown in. That'll be 3 seconds added to Aaron Petho, who's already got 3, so he will take it up to 6, and he will lose that position therefore to Regan Harding. 3 seconds for Connor Stewart-Woodard, for Brian Moore, and for Paul Gurung as well, as we're going to get side by side between the two Aston Martins. And I think that they've decided that it's going to be Boldero's time to shine.
I was just about to mention, Owen, I think he's been having a bit of a quiet race here, but I think he's the one we need to watch out for. He's got 1 lap old hard tyres on. They're only, what, 12, 13 seconds behind Andrew Chenkovan, who must need to stop again, surely. Owen Boldero is in a great position. He's just set a purple second sector. He is rapid. I think outside of Andrew Chenkovan, he is the one we need to watch. He might well put a surprise here. And he'd absolutely love a win to end the season, I'm sure. But yeah, Andrew Chenkovan has a 3-second penalty. And wait, is he fighting with I don't know what's happened there because I'm pretty sure.
He's in the pits.
He's in the pit. So he's cut the corner on the way into the pits. I really confused him. I'm looking at the main broadcast here, and it was saying -68. No idea what happened. That's not very Andrew Chengavan like, although he did get one last time out, but there was during battle as he loses the back end on that tricky pit exit here. I always say this. I think I stole this from David Coulthard. I don't know why they built a tunnel, because cars are no good on camera in a tunnel. If they built a bridge over the track, that would have looked a hell of a lot better from a heli shot. But he will try and hunt the drivers back down again now. But as I was saying, Owen Baldero, he's the one to look out for as he gets past Lucas Seracini then, and he'd be hoping to hunt down Alexis Mason.
Surely it's got to be infrastructurally better to have a tunnel there, because there's not enough to have the elevation. I know these Formula 1 cars have acceleration, but surely they don't have the ability to go that high that quickly over the circuit. But I quite like the tunnel, so it's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but it's a hill I'm willing to disagree on. But yeah, it's I think it's cool at least, and I think it's funny whenever somebody forgets about it and just pins the throttle straight down into the wall. Aaron Petho's made his way past Connor Stewart-Woodard in the meantime. He's up into the top 7. And, Lucas Seracini remains on the back of Owen Baldero as it stands, with Ollie Matthews not quite having the pace to keep up with those two drivers. Andrew Chenkovan, 5th place at the moment as Petho makes his way past Brian Moore. Moore is going to try to fight it back around the outside, and he is going to give Petho a little love tap, but nothing doing for the moment. Connor Stewart-Woodard going very wide in the background, but Andrew Chenkovan, of course, the only driver to win 4 titles in the Almost Pro Championship. Ollie Matthews going to go for a 2-stop strategy here, I think. That's going to be a very interesting one indeed.
Yeah, you're touching on Andrew Chenkovan there. It's he's in 4th position right now, 6 seconds off Lucas Seracini with a 3-second penalty. There's obviously a lot to play for here. It's still possible that he is not going to win this one. It's very possible. I mean, it'd be surprising if he doesn't. He's gone last the first a couple of times. He's always pulled it off as his teammate Ethan Shackleton gets ahead of Connor Stewart-Woodard, who is in the pit lane. He is the driver I'm on board with on my tablet this week. I only had 2 kickstarters to choose from as Bertwelly is not here. Connor is changing his wings, so he's obviously had an issue. Not been a good season for Connor, but yeah, Andrew Chenkovan, he's fantastic, and I'll tell you, we'll obviously touch on him again a little bit later towards the end of the race, but so we won't dwell on him too much now. But for now, we'll get back into the podium positions. I mean, he looks like he's kind of staying a very consistent time behind Lucas Seracini, so he's not doing a lot. Looks like he's faster in the 3rd sector, actually. Suddenly pulled up 4 temps there, so maybe his wing settings are making him faster in the twisty parts and not so much the straight parts. So looking forward to seeing how that one is going to end. Owen Baldero is slowly hunting down Alexis Mason. Alexis will want to win here. She's got to win, so she doesn't need to win this one, but she will still be hoping to do so. I'm more curious about if the Aston Martins have swapped, and I don't know if we got an answer. Junior, did we get an answer? Did they swap on purpose?
As far as I'm aware, I don't have an answer, sorry, so I'll have to have a look into it. I'll see if I can find anything for you guys soon.
Thank you very much. But yeah, there's big gaps now, so hopefully something fun happens soon, because not a lot going on. Andrew Chenkovan is actually suddenly picked up the pace and is massively hunting down Lucas Seracini. So I expect an overtake very soon.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep an eye on Andrew Chenkovan. I'm going to keep an eye on especially how many warnings he got for coming into the pit lane, because if he already had 2 and then he came into the pit lane, that would mean that he's only 1 away from a penalty anyway. But if he didn't, which I think is most likely, then we will be seeing that removed. When he raced, when WR Tier 1 raced around PC Tier 1 for the final race of the season last time out. They had problems with coming into the pit lane. I believe it was Julian Klaffenbach, who got like 4 warnings for coming in, and then we were confused as to whether he was going to get them removed or not, because it said that he had like 7 or 8 warnings when the majority of them were from boxing twice. So that's one of those things that is very difficult. It's one of those things that hopefully they'll iron out on the DLC. It's one of those things that I fear they will not be doing, but we will see. Of course, lap 22 of 29, so we are 7 laps away from the end of our APC season, or 8 even away from the end of our APC season, and we are watching with the 2 drivers who are closest together on circuit. Paul Grang with a 3-second time penalty, Ethan Shackleton, who's come back pretty well in the second half of this race.
In answer to your question, Andrew Chenkovan got 2 track limit warnings on lap number 9. So he was 2. He got 1 on lap 8. In fact, he got 2 on lap 18 as well. So he may well have got 2 at the pit entry, but he would have still got a penalty anyway. So he's currently got a penalty and 1 more track limit warning. So he's got 4 warnings in total. So even if he got 1 of those removed, he still will have got that penalty. So unfortunately, that's not looking like it's going to be removed, but it may well be something else we missed on lap 9, because he got 2 penalties in quick succession. So maybe there was another issue. In fact, did he box on lap 9? I think he did actually box on lap 9. I'm just looking at my data here. He did box on lap 9, so he's got 2 warnings both times he's gone into the pit lane. So actually, I could be very much wrong there, and that would be something for a Giannuzzi to have a look at if it gets submitted to the stewards. So we'll have to wait and see what that one looks like. Yeah, that may well have happened, because it did seem odd. Did seem an odd time to get a penalty, but although no, it's not happening to anyone else. So I'd be curious to know if he actually did even cut the corner in the first place. So as there is a gif of donuts in the chat. So what else is going on? Regan Harding is in 7th position. He is hunting down Aaron Pether, who's got 6 seconds worth of penalty, so he won't fight them too hard. Andrew Chenkovan finally on the back of Lucas Serafini. Is it too late for Andrew Chenkovan to get into 2nd or even the win? We'll have to wait another 7 laps to find out.
Yeah, we certainly will. We certainly will indeed. And Lucas Serafini, 3-second time penalty for him. That could be vital with the end of this race at hand. Andrew Chenkovan might be looking to the outside line here of Serafini, who's going to duck all the way to the inside of the sweeping left-hander. And Chenkovan, I think, is going to be able to make this position up. But Serafini is going to try to keep the grip on the exit, but I don't think he's going to be able to with those tyres being the age that they are. So he's going to drop back behind Chenkovan. And, of course, with that 3-second time penalty, that will drop him in terms of just being on the circuit anyway, of course, because Chenkovan's 3-second time penalty will be removed. Ollie Matthews will be the next one up, 18 seconds off the back. So I think Serafini is safe for 4th place here. But there's going to be a bit of frustration, I'm sure, for the V-Cub, who, don't forget, he's finished 9th, 11th and 9th in his APC seasons. So the fact that he's even going to be frustrated with the 4th place is great. And it's well, it's a bittersweet moment for the number 99, who will be fighting at the moment to try and stay within range of Chenkovan. But that just demonstrates the pace that the Croat has got. He's been able to eke out 2 seconds already, and is closing in that gap to Owen Baldero. So I think the Aston Martin's going to be under pressure late on. Not sure yet whether he's going to be able to catch Mason.
Yeah, okay, I did think Owen was going to do well here. He's got really good tyres, but yeah, it looks to me that Andrew may well catch him. Here's one thing to note, though. The oldest tyres were Owen Baldero's when he took them off after 14 laps. I don't know what his tyre life, his tyre wear was like, but he made 14 laps. Alexis Mason currently has 11 laps. If she goes to the end, there's another, 4.5 laps to go. No, it's 4.5 laps to go. They will be almost 16 laps old. So she will need to nurse him. She's got 8 seconds ahead. She's 8 seconds ahead of Owen Baldero. She has the space to nurse him. Will she decide to do it, or will she keep pushing? I mean, I say she's got the space. Andrew Chenkovan is coming down at a rate of knots. So does she have the space? I guess not so much. But yeah, it's I can't call this at the moment. I think Owen is probably now out of the fight. He's still on for a potential podium, but out of the fight for the win. As actually he goes wide there, really wide there. And here we go. We've got Regan Harding and Aaron Pether going side by side. These two have had fun before. They know how to go side by side with each other. It doesn't always pan off well, but they are doing well at the moment. Neither of them going to the wall. It was very close for Aaron there, but yeah, that battle will go on for another few laps, I'm sure. But it's Andrew Chenkovan who's very close to Owen Baldero going down the final pit straight. Will he better pull it off and take P2 in the final race of season number 10?
he's going to give it a go, and with the double dose of DRS, it's certainly going to help him. Chenkovan about 4/10 off of the back, with Owen Boldero just ahead. And Chenkovan gets a great exit out of the turn number 7, so he's going to get the run. But Boldero's exit wasn't too half bad either, and Chenkovan looks maybe to the outside. Yep, indeed he does. Boldero defends to the inside. He's got a bit more in him than Seracini had a couple of laps ago, so he's going to fight this one back a little bit better. Trying to squeeze Chenkovan onto the outside line has been successful, and Chenkovan tries to find his way back through, very close to contact between the two, and Chenkovan makes a mistake. Chenkovan just has a bit of a rear loss, has to succumb the position to Boldero, and in fairness, great awareness from the Aston Martin to move out of the way, but Chenkovan with a rare mistake, he's going to have to do that one all over again.
Yeah, he did have to succumb the position to Owen Boldero there. That's a very odd one. We don't see that very often from Andrew Chenkovan. I think he's almost, sometimes some may say, too good of a driver. He saw the gap and decided he didn't want to close it down. This is a feisty battle for P7 here, for P6, apologies. These two are not letting go of each other. But yeah, that was, he obviously tried to stay out of the way and not crash into Owen Boldero, and that caused him to just lose the back end. But that will give Owen Boldero and Alexis Mason a little bit of hope, a little bit of breathing room. Not so much Owen Boldero. Chenkovan is still within 1 second, and we'll still have another go at him very, very shortly on the fresher hard tyres. But I tell you what, right now Alexis has a fantastic gap, and I'm very curious about tyre life, and I don't know if Gianizzi is going to be able to ask her about a tyre life. She might be concentrating, but hopefully in the next couple of laps, maybe on the last lap when it's too late for anyone to react, we can find out what her tyre life's like.
Yeah, we will indeed, and we will see what will happen between these drivers. It's going to be side by side for Regan and for Aaron, as well as Andrea Chenkovan and Owen Boldero. So through goes Regan Harding, and through goes Andrea Chenkovan as well. I think he's going to confirm that position, as that was a mistake further back from what looks like Ollie Matthews. They swap back, so lots of DRS swapping at the moment from Petho and from Harding. It's a shame that Aaron Petho is not in the VC to have a chat to us about it, but Regan Harding is, so maybe we'll get the opinions of the very opinionated Irishman later on, who's of course had force feedback issues throughout the course of this race, and he's going to hope to not have those issues in the future, and for the final 3 laps of the APC campaign.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm going to throw it straight over to Gianizzi, who's got some information on Owen Boldero and Andrew Chenkovan.
Okay, yes, that's correct. Yeah, so I just joined in to see if there was any update on that incident, and sorry, I forgot the Aston Martin's name again. Could you remind me again, please? Owen
Boldero.
Owen, yes, thank you very much. I did have a spreadsheet up actually of the real name. So yeah, Owen mentioned that little tangle, little incident with Chenko. He didn't feel anything, so I don't know if that's good or bad to hear, but yeah, it hasn't affected him. So that's all I got to give to you guys at the moment.
Thanks very much, Gianizzi. Yeah, no, from what I saw, there was no contact. He just tried to ensure that he didn't go into the side of Owen Boldero, apologies, and that made him lock up. So I think that's probably all agreed, and nobody will be seeing an instant report for that one. So it'll be one less thing for you to worry about after this race, Gianizzi. But yeah, a lot of fun. I mean, these two are going absolutely at it right now, aren't they? Absolutely crazy. The tyre graphic actually did pop up on my screen on the replay camera for the two drivers in second and third, and there's a 10% wear difference between the two of them. So it looks like Owen Boldero was never going to be able to hold on to that one. It looks like Ethan Shackleton and Brian Moore are having a bit of a battle as well. Ethan Shackleton being one of the few drivers without a penalty, which we do see from him. He might have his incidents, he might have his spins, he might make his mistakes, but we don't often see many penalties from Ethan Shackleton. So that's one thing he can hold on to. And I tell you what, Paul Garung has entered the chat, guys, as Aaron Petho gets another 3-second penalty then. And these three are going to have to sort this out because there's only 2 laps to go.
Yeah, they certainly don't have much time to go. That is the second time we've seen a Mercedes in the wall today. This time Garung survives. It's a bit early for donuts, mate, but he's going to go on to lap number 28, the penultimate lap of this race with no front wing. That means that he'll probably lose 8th place to Ethan Shackleton, and he's going to lose a little bit of confidence as well, I'd imagine, but it's going to be only one more lap to go then in this season, And it will be Alexis Mason who takes us on to it. A part-time campaign for Mason is what she's competed all throughout, but every single time she has raced, she has excelled, and she knows all about it as she heads onto the final lap of this race. Chenkovan has chased. He's chased from the back row of the grid. He's chased despite issues, but I don't think he's going to get close enough. That one mistake off of the back of Boldero, where he tried to go to the inside, is just a little bit too much, and so he's not going to be able to catch Mason at the end. So it's not going to be a victory lap from Andrea Chenkovan, who thoroughly deserves one, really, after the way his championship has gone. He wrapped it up with a couple of rounds to go in the season, and he has just romped home, starting from last, trying to give Ollie Matthews the best opportunity he can, because the Croat knows that that's all it's about at the end of the day. It's all about having fun, and it's all about giving everyone the best shot. He gave Matthews the best shot, but the Aston Martin, for all his good work, for all his talent, couldn't keep up with the Croat. So Chenkovan will be coming home in second place in this race, and he'll be coming home a 4-time champion. Alexis Mason, though, if she goes full-time next season, she could be the driver in the best position to hold a candle. We've had the likes of Leandro Ratto, we've had the likes of Harry Chapman in the past. They've had the pace, but they haven't stuck about. Alexis Mason has stuck about for an entire season, so she's already done better than those, even if it was a part-time campaign. And the V-Carb will come across the line to take a very well-earned victory. And it's going to be a little bit of a slide out of the final corner. I think she's going to try to do a donut here, but no, she sees Andrea Chenkovan around the final corner and decides to just take the spoils. It's the Ferrari in second place, and it's Owen Boldero rounding out the podium after a dramatic race for himself. Lucas Erasini will coast to the line with his best season in APC. Big improvements and a promising sign for F1 26 for the V-Carb driver, who comes around the final corner to pick up fourth place. Although if he slows down too much, he will allow Ollie Matthews to overtake him. And Ollie, of course, the closest to the title, he will hope to come back next year with a little bit more fight. Regan Harding has had his own issues throughout the course of the campaign. Self-admittedly was not as quick as he thought he was going to be, but there's opportunities for him to do some work, to do plenty work in the season break. And he will be wanting to get going on F1 26 with the pace he would have hoped to have. To the line for the Williams for 6th place for himself. Ethan Shackleton with his lowest finish in the Almost Pro Championship. He's holding himself against high expectations. 5th place for Ethan in the end, and 7th place in the race today. Paul Garung with a spin right at the very end of this one. He's almost going to succumb the position to Brian Moore. He doesn't in the end, and Connor Stewart-Woodard is going to jump them both with the penalties, so he makes his way into 8th. Difficult seasons for the two V-Carbs, and for the two Kick Saubers, and Aaron Petho just doing some donuts. The only driver to get the celebrations in the main race lobby. We're going to hope that he finishes these donuts in the next minute or minute and 30, otherwise he'll be timed out. And, he's a lap down anyway, so who really cares? But it has been a great season of racing. We've got 11 drivers ready to finish. We've got a minute left, so Aaron Petho, I think, will be coming to the line and will be rounding it off. If not, he will get timed out and he will end up a lap down, but it doesn't matter. But we have had one of the most filled seasons of APC in terms of action, in terms of drivers, that I've seen for a while. And, here's for more on F1 26.
Absolutely, yes, of course. We'll look at the calendar very shortly, but I'm looking forward to another season. As you say, it's been a season full of fantastic talent. It's been top talent this season. It's been so good to watch. And as you say, it'd be great to see the likes of Alexis going full time. So hopefully she will do that, and we'll find out a little bit later. But fantastic talent. It's been so good. It's been like last race especially. Is that a puncher maybe now for Aaron? He did obviously do a lot of donuts there, so it's possible, or he might be going to the end. One thing I will say, at least we're not waiting for Paul Garung to come past the line in reverse as he's done on previous season, which was a bit of a bittersweet way to end the race. But that's the end for Aaron Petho. But I tell you what, this season has been all about one man. Some call him Chenki, some call him Chenko, some call him Senkai, some even call him Chenkenovic, but we call him a 4-time APC champion.
We certainly do. And just to round off our season, we will run you through the results if it decides to load. But as it has done a few times throughout the course of this season, it may decide to not. So in fact, I think I'm going to... Oh, no, we are going to get them. We're going to get the results for the end of the season, and it will be Alexis Mason who's going to come out on top of the front row of the field. Of course, Andrea Chenkvan, driver of the day, Owen Boldero most overtakes, but Alexis Mason from the front row to first, and Andrea Chenkvan from the back row to second. Boldero, who started on the second row, ended on the second row, came home in third, and Lucas Aracini just didn't have the pace after the safety car restart. He ended up in fourth. Matthews fifth to fifth, but that's not the full story of the Maltese drivers' race. And Regan Harding from last place up to sixth, a good race from him. Ethan Shackleton in seventh, Connor Stewart-Woodard in eighth, Paul Garung in ninth, and Brian Moore rounding out the top 10. And the drivers on the same lap, as of course Aaron Petho tried to take the opportunity to do some donuts, so ended up a lap down, and Daniel Riley, a crash early on at his favourite track, caused him to DNF. But that is going to be it for our season of APC. It's a fantastic season that we've had. And, well, we will get the opportunity to speak to a few of the drivers about their seasons in just a couple of moments' time. But first, Kyle?
Yes. Should we take a look at the calendar first for next season?
We can do indeed. And, well, I will just get that one up. And we will see what is going to happen for season number 11, of course, on F1 26. Well, we're going to be starting off the season in mid-August in Bahrain. It feels like an age away. I'll have a tattoo by then, fun fact. But we will be heading to
APC
Bahrain for the
tattoo
first round of the season, if you pay me enough. And then we'll be heading to Saudi Arabia for round number 2. So we'll be heading from the end of a season in the Middle East to the start of a season in the Middle East. Miami for round number 3 and Montreal for round 4. Then our first sprint race of the season at Austria, where we've had plenty of action in the past and plenty of change-ups. Then the UK, Silverstone for round number 6, and to round off the first half of the season, we'll be heading to Belgium. Zandvoort will be race number 8 on the 13th of October after a week break, and then we'll be heading to Monza. We will have a sprint race at the Madrid for round 10. Of course, nobody has raced that yet, but we will have had plenty of practice by October, especially the end of October, with Texas, Mexico City, Brazil, and then a new way to end the season at Qatar.
Yeah, this is the first time in APC history that we've not finished the season at Abu Dhabi. The way our calendar works, just to reiterate, I know I mentioned at the beginning of the season, but there are tracks that we do every season. There are tracks where we have a list of slightly less popular tracks that we will only do 1 or 2 or 3 of per season, which it gets voted. We decide that as admins, and then there's a whole list of tracks that the drivers, popular ones that the drivers will vote on themselves, and the top few, usually around 4, will make it on to the list. Spain, Madrid, and actually Catalonia both got moved onto that voted list, so that one did get voted in. And Abu Dhabi also got moved onto that list. That got moved from the every season list to the vote list, and they've decided they don't want it next season, so we will end in Qatar. And what a fun way that will be to end. I mean, if it's anything like the Qatar race we had in season number 10, that's going to be a fun way to end the season. But looking forward to seeing the Mad Ring. Canada's back. It's been a little while since we've been there, so it'll be fun to see that one back. Miami, bit of a controversial one, that one. But again, it's going to be fun to watch from the comms box. And I look forward to doing this all over again for you next season for season number 11, Joseph.
Certainly will be a lot of fun. Looking forward to being back, and we're going to jump in with some interviews to round off this season of racing. We'll bring in Brian Moore.
The driver reveal first.
I was going to do the driver reveal to the individual drivers, and then we can do the graphic. But if you want to do it the other way around, we can do that as well.
I'll leave it up to you. I'm not sure who's watching the stream to find out. Your
way then. Go away, Brian. We will be having a look at the lineup for next season. Well, it will be very interesting indeed, of course. This will be the first time that a number of the drivers will be seeing this graphic. And so, Brian Moore, he will be heading to Williams. He'll be joining Regan Harding in the team, and Dan Riley and Paul Garung, brand new teammates in the Red Bulls. Ollie Corlett and Lucas Aracini will be racing alongside each other in the V-Carb, and Ellen Hoffenk is going to go to full time. She's going to be joining in the McLaren. Andrea Chenkovan and Ethan Shackleton will be alongside each other in the Ferrari, of course, and Connor Stewart-Woodard is going to stay in the Sauber, but it's going to head to being an Audi instead. We've got 3 reserves: Aaron Petho, Burt Welly and Ollie Matthews, and then potentially the most intriguing lineup of the lot, Alexis Mason and Owen Boldero.
Yeah, that's going to be an odd dynamic, isn't it? They are, of course, friends, and I've just seen Connor has mentioned in the driver chat he's very happy about that. Now, I was planning on actually joining him over there, but unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be ready to drive again next season. But Owen Boldero, Alexis Mason, yeah, they are friends, but it can be a bit spicy between the two of them sometimes, so that's going to be a fun dynamic to watch. Ethan and Andrea, they will never let go of those seats. They will just be there until season number 35, I'm sure, as they're there kind of climbing into their rigs. I can picture it now. Dan Riley and Paul Garang, of course, current teammates at Mercedes. They both want to move to Red Bull. I don't know why, but that's their decision. And Luke and Ollie, they decided they wanted to be teammates. Ellen Hoffeng, just to confirm, she didn't use her real name for this season. She wanted to see what APC was all about before revealing that, and she will next season use her real name. Annoyingly, Ollie Matthews, of course, we've seen him obviously have a really good season this season, but he's not going to be able to commit to the league full time next season. So unfortunately, he is jumped to reserve. And same for Burt Welly, and Aaron Peffo will remain in the reserve seat. But it's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know if Gianitzi, I don't know if you have an opinion on this driver lineup. You think it's going to be a spicy one for next season?
Very, yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I look forward to seeing who steps up to the plate, if there's any new championship contenders that, or who even maybe a dark horse, to get a good positions. But time will tell, Kyle.
Indeed it will, and I think Alexis going full time. That's going to be the big question mark, isn't it? What's Alexis going to do? She's won almost all the races she's contested here, although one was lost through a penalty. What is she going to do against Andrea Chenkovan next season in that brand new Cadillac? I, for one, cannot wait to find out.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting indeed to watch and, to find out as well. And, of course, as I say, probably the most intriguing lineup of the lot is going to be Alexis and Owen alongside each other in the Cadillacs. But we will drag in now Brian Moore, finally. We teased him a minute ago. Nope, he's going to leave exactly as I put him in. Okay, so we're not going to drag in Brian Moore because literally I brought him in and then it might have been less than half a second later he left. But there we go. So we will be heading to the next driver on the list. We're going to head up as we usually did throughout the course of the season. I know I've changed the order a couple of times, but we're going to be trying to go up the order. And so we're going to head to Regan Harding, who ended up in 6th place. The majority of the drivers at the top of the field came in to join us. But Regan, talk me through that one.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy. I had an issue during qualifying where for some reason my setup was registering that I was putting my foot on the brake like the whole lap I was driving, and I wasn't. And then when I would actually brake, it just wouldn't brake. So I had to leave and then come back. So obviously I qualified P12, and there was 2 or 3 times there in the race where I almost ended up in the wall because I tried to brake. So I had to actually change my brake pedal from my brake pedal to my clutch, which is in the middle, which is so there's no force feedback around that or anything. It's very, very difficult to judge. So I knew I was really, really slow, and I was really struggling with the brake. And even towards the end, when I was going against the Haas, I tried to leave as much space as I can or brake as late as I could, and it was just so difficult to judge. So the fact that I started the race in 12th, not having brakes, and finishing the race pretty much not having brakes as well to finish P6, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, fair enough. And if you could unplug and plug the mic back in just because it keeps ducking to make sure that it's all good whilst I ask my next question. I don't know if that's going to mess up in terms of you being able to hear me or not, but I'm going to...
It should be fine. I'll try it now. Hang on.
It just appears to be ducking in and out for some unknown reason, but...
Is it better now? No?
That's very loud, but give it another go.
Oh, sorry. Is it better now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Sorry.
No, that's totally fine. That's perfect. Strategy-wise today, it was a very interesting one indeed. Just talk me through the mindset that you had going into that.
Yeah, well, as I said, I was planning on doing a one stop, and then when I had the issues with my brakes and I couldn't brake, as I said, I'll just quickly summarize. Brakes weren't working. I had to change my brakes from my brake pedal to my clutch. So I was using the clutch as a brake the whole time, which felt dreadful. So I was pretty happy to finish P6. I thought, look, what the hell? I'll go for a two stop. I'm already this far down the field and see what I can do. I was in WRL there last Saturday and I went for a two stop and I think I finished P4 or 5. Like, it was pretty good. And I'm not, maybe not podium worthy, but I definitely would have been further up the order if I started further up the order. But I had so many technical difficulties with the brakes or whatnot. The car felt just dreadful. So I didn't have any feeling, no force feedback on the clutch, obviously. So it was very, very difficult to judge. So I thought I'll go for a two stop. I know it's faster. And I know that if there's a DRS train in front of me, you're not going to get anywhere. You may as well go for a two stop. So that was the plan. The plan was to always go for medium hards. I wasn't too sure on the hards what lap to go, but I was in the voice chat and Stad said he was playing on lap 21 and I said, well, I'll do the same. So that's what I done. And I'm still happy I went for the two stop.
Yeah, I mean, I might have been focusing too much on the audio thing going on to focus on your answer to that first question, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, I mean, it was a unique situation we had today. All of the drivers in the same voice chat. How did that change your approach, if at all?
It didn't really. They just kept giving out to me because every time I would come up to a corner, I would give out or complain because I would accidentally brake with the wrong brake pedal, or it was just very difficult. But I found it interesting. I think it actually helped me focus more and to hear other people's strategies and feedbacks and where they were on track and who they were battling and how much time they're losing. It felt more realistic and more in tune. And I think sometimes when you're here for 45 minutes doing a race and you're kind of sat there on your own, it can get a bit boring. So it was good to have that kind of back and forth with the rest of the drivers.
Yeah, certainly so. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Carl, have you got anything for Regan before we let him go?
Regan.
No time penalties. Did you see that?
No, I see that, but also ninth in the championship, my friend. You have jumped Aaron Petho and Dan Riley in that race.
Yes.
So well done. So I've been able to actually, because we had all the time talking about driver lineups, I've actually been able to have time to put the data in so I can give everyone their live updates. And that is also fourth in the team championship. So
yeah,
that's what you were aiming for last time we spoke. So well done. So good stuff all around. Yeah, how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about going into next season with a brand new teammate in Brian Moore?
Yeah, very happy. I wasn't expecting to beat my teammate, especially I knew I was kind of close on terms, but with the brake issue I had, I was like, oh, there's no way I get it done. There's no way. But I'm very glad, very happy about that. Look, it's not obviously where we want to be. I want to be further up the order. But I'll tell you one thing, it's not about starting points, that's for sure. So hopefully we can only go up from here. And I would like to hope for maybe a top 5 in the championship and maybe top 3 if it was possible in the constructor. So quote me on that and then hopefully I'll get it.
Sounds good. Yes, we'll look forward to that. It's of course we'll see you back in August. But thanks for joining us this season. Of course, this is your first season with us, and we've loved having you here. And we look forward to having you back next season, and hopefully, finally get that elusive podium in.
I hope so. Thank you, gentlemen. It's been a great run. I've really, really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. I'll see you back for a new season where I'll be refreshed and getting wins week in, week out.
Look forward to it.
Quote me on that.
Well, we're going to have to do a lot of quoting on Regan, and he's going to have to do a lot of backtracking. Thank you for joining us today throughout the course of the season as well. That was Regan Harding, who joined us right at the start of the season, managed to make his way all the way through it. And we're now going to speak to a driver who ended up just a little bit further up the order. 5th place in the end for Ollie Matthews. Seemed to be a little bit on your own for the majority of that one.
Yeah, I quite liked a race like that. I didn't really have any expectations, didn't have great pace, but I just kind of stood my ground and stayed out of trouble and had a little bit of a moment towards the end of the race which stopped me getting Luca with his pen, but quite just a chill race overall.
Yeah, it's fair enough. It might be the kind of race you want to end off your season, end off your full-time campaign as well, but I mean, just how does it feel knowing that next year you're not going to be full-time?
I don't think that's really something that's going to cross my mind. I won't physically be able to race for a while, which is why I'm a reserve. And then when I'm able to race again, I'll then be either reserving frequently or hop into a full-time seat of some description, but we'll take that as it comes. And yeah, I'll be trying to come back stronger and seeing if I can bring a challenge to Shenki, Alexis, those that I have fought a little but haven't fought enough.
Yeah, definitely. And how excited are you for the new DLC?
So excited. I'm turning line off straight away, which didn't start well for me in quali, with my first 2 laps being with no line. But with
The first
with
one
the
with no
summer
wing as
to-
well.
both of them with no wing either. But yeah, it'll be a summer of practicing and learning the lines to be equally as fast, if not faster.
Yeah, hopefully. And hopefully you'll be able to jump in just like Alexis did and end up taking some victories. That's all from me. Carl, have you got anything before we let Ollie go?
I think we speak about it quite a lot this season, but I guess for the last time, as it's confirmed it will be the last time, how was it to be teammates with Owen Baldero? That dynamic from what we saw just worked very well, and we see you running formation for the last few formation laps, which has been fun to watch, but how much have you enjoyed it, and how much are you going to miss the guy?
Honestly, probably one of the best teammates that I could have had by chance, because obviously we started in different teams, and then after the Andros incident in Saudi, I then jumped mid-season from McLaren to Aston, and we've just kind of we've known each other before, so it wasn't a complete stranger, and we were able to get along well and be able to kind of have that instant chemistry of how we're working together, what our expectations are. We didn't have a single crash, and yeah, probably arguably the best teammate that I could have asked for the whole season.
Oh, I'm not going to lie, I'm a bit emotional after all
Yeah.
this. It's only league racing, but God, that was,
He
emotional.
deserved the win that season or this season, but he'll get it next season, and I'm sure of that when they hopefully make controllers a little bit less restricted as opposed to wheel racing.
For sure, and from us, from myself at least, it is going to be a shame to not see you racing full season. But I'm glad you are sticking with the league, and you're not abandoning us because you are pretty much part of the fabric now. But yeah, enjoy your time, enjoy any of the other leagues that you get involved in, and I looking forward to seeing you back, hopefully with the next first few races of next season.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. It's been a
Thank
great
you.
season.
Well, thank you very much to Ollie for joining us for the final time for a while. It'll be the final time for everybody, I think, for a while, but the final time for a while indeed. In the meantime, Brian Moore has jumped back into the interview room, so we are going to be getting the opportunity to speak to the Kick Sauber for the final time this season. And Brian, it seemed to be an interesting one from your perspective.
Yeah, I kind of lived up to what I said last week of trying to just go all out to try to beat Connor this week, and it didn't quite work. But the last race as teammates, I didn't know if it was definitely going to be the last race as teammates, but two guys that will possibly be last race as teammates, and just did what I could try, or did the best I could do.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And of course, you had some good fights with each other throughout the course of your time as teammates, and throughout the course of the season as well. And it be an interesting dynamic next season, I think it's fair to say, between yourself and Regan. What are your early thoughts on it?
I think me and Regan will work well off each other. It'll be interesting to see how we do. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting next season, me and Regan. I'm looking forward to sort of new teammate. Me and Regan know each other well, get on with each other, so it'll be an interesting one to see how the two of us sort of work off each other and how we can work as a team to, see where we can get a championship. Can we take Williams that step higher next season or not? We'll have to see.
Will definitely be interesting indeed. But yeah, that's all from me. Carl, have you got anything for Brian?
Yeah, Brian's looking forward to teaming up with Regan and next season. I'm sure Connor Stewart won't be too too upset to hear that. He might know. I mean, I did message him because he never joins us for an interview, and I happen to know him rather well. So I messaged him and called him out for not joining us for the final race. But yeah, are you gonna maybe miss Connor a bit? Obviously, you're one of the 4 teams off the top of my head who did communicate and worked quite well together through the season. So, you're gonna miss him a bit, and do you think you and Regan are going to be able to work just as well together?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna miss obviously working with him. I had a good season together. Had some good laughs throughout the season. I mean, hopefully me and Regan communicate the same. I mean, talking to him earlier tonight before the race, me and him both have very similar. He also likes to listen to music when racing, so it'll be an interesting one there. If it'll be an interesting one if we're in sort of in a Discord call together. Not necessarily, obviously, maybe not in here, but like say another server or something. Maybe have like one of them music bot things on Discord in there. The combined taste of music, it might be a bit different, but we might find from each other different kinds of music which may help us concentrate better in the races which we didn't know about. Just small stuff like that. You never know, but I think me and him next season can have sort of a good season working off each other. It's always good to laugh when talking to him, so hopefully we can take that into racing next season together.
Well, make sure you stream because I'll be very much looking forward to the karaoke session from the Williams drivers. That all I'm picturing is that meme, well, not the meme, but the video of the driver who's driving around singing Katy Perry. That's what I'm picturing you and Regan doing next season. So looking forward to that one. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here all season. I think you did it all but one race, so it was a very consistent season from you. Really appreciate your time as always, and thank you for sticking with it. And I look forward to seeing you again in August.
You're welcome. Looking forward to seeing you guys again in August.
Certainly will. August, as I say, feels like an absolute lifetime away. But that was, of course, Brian Moore joining us, which means that we get to head on to the podium. And Mr. P4 himself managed to take it that one step further. Owen, talk me through that one.
Yeah, it was, well, qualifying was just kind of meh, just about as expected. It was P4. Kind of where I end up finishing in APC this season, in quali and the races. But then the race, obviously the Dan Alexis collision happened, which brought out the safety car. I got that 10-second penalty. Pure just me not looking. I was looking at something else on my other screen, and I didn't notice that I had a 10-second or had an illegal overtake, so I got the 10-second pen. But honestly, was the best thing that could have happened to me. I think pitting under that safety car really brought my race alive in a sense, because I had the mandatory stop out of the way. Although I definitely had to stop again. I had 2 sets of hards, which are far and away the better tyre at Abu Dhabi. And then after the restart, sort of my comeback was pretty quick actually. I made my way through the field really nicely, and then was able to get myself back in that fight for the podium, where I just sort of for a couple of laps sat behind, gained some energy, and then once everyone went in, it was just about banging in some consistent laps until I pitted. I actually only came out a couple of seconds behind Ollie and Luca, and then obviously with the better tyres, I was just able to overtake them, and then from there it was just I was sort of on my own for most of it. I had that little battle with Andrea Chenkovan. I wasn't sure whether there was contact when he slid, but I have watched it back and no, I didn't touch him. It was just rear locking, and he said it as well. So that at least I know I didn't touch him. But yeah, and then from there, once he got past me, I tried to stay with him as much as I could, but his pace was just a little too much. And then by 3 attempts, sadly, he was able to take the P2. But I think the recovery was really nice, and it was a good way to end the season for me, because my pace, even though I got podium at Vegas, my pace for the last sort of 3-4 races just hasn't really been there. So to have a race where actually I was on the podium on merit was nice.
It certainly was. It certainly was, and it was a good way to end your season. And of course, it ends your partnership with Ollie Matthews as well. He's jumped in here to give us his opinions on that. So I was hoping to get similar from you. How's it going to be not being teammates with Ollie next year?
Yeah, well, I think one of the strongest things about me and Ollie's sort of teammate partnership this season has been how well we were able to coordinate together, because we were such similar pace at a lot of tracks. At least in like the first parts of the races, we were able to coordinate quite nicely, and it worked really well in our favour. At a load of tracks, Brazil, I can remember one, we were able to catch Aaron Peffo towards the end of the race because of it. And we were able to take the constructors fight to Ferrari. Unfortunately, we didn't win it, obviously, but I think probably as a pair we were the strongest too, because we were so well balanced. So yeah, it's gonna be a shame that I won't have him next season. He's probably one of the better teammates I've had in league racing. I'd rank him within the top 3 teammates I've had in league racing. So it's gonna be a shame not having him, but looking forward to next season. I've got Alexis, so it's going to be a shame not to have him, but we'll see what happens next season.
And I was going to ask on Alexis, just what's it going to be like working with her next year? I keep saying yeah.
Well, me and Alexis know each other very, very well. So I think the coordination should be fine, and we're not. Well, I'm nowhere near Alexis on pace, so that we won't have any issues that me and Ollie could have potentially had with like double stacking and things like that. So we're not going to be tripping over each other. But I think with Alexis, as we know, on her day she can take it to Andrea Chenkovan on pace. So potentially with that little bit of sort of extra, maybe me and Alexis can really take it to Ferrari next season in the constructors fight. I'll just sort of keep doing what I've been doing this season, banging out P4, P5s, the occasional podium, and hopefully Alexis can get the wins, and potentially we can take it to Ferrari for next season. But I think as a pair, me and Alexis will work really nicely.
Yeah, well, of course we will see. Hoping to be on similar pace, just like you and Ollie have been, and that would be very interesting to see the fight between yourselves and with the 2 Ferraris indeed. That's all from me. Kyle, have you got anything for Owen before we let him go?
A lot of ground covered between the two of you there. I guess the one question for me, based on your interview just there, who are the top 2 teammates you've ever had in league racing?
So, one of them, neither of them were in this league, because when I came into APC back in season 6, I actually originally started without a teammate at Williams, and I think the top 2 probably were someone called Toxie, still actually one of my good friends, Brian Moore. Brian Moore will know that very, very well. And then my other one would be my friend Josh from when I first started out, because it was basically a partnership very similar to me and Ollie, but we won the constructors in that season. So I'd say they're probably my top 2 teammates. Ollie is probably knocking on the door with them. I think Ollie is interchangeable with Toxie as a teammate. So yeah, that's probably my top 3.
I like it. I mean, you guys did obviously put up a hard battle for the championship, and it was so fun to watch. We were rooting. We had the Ferrari domination. We don't want it forever, so we were rooting for it. But you did end up quite far behind in the end, 367 to Ferrari's 440. So Ethan obviously put in some results back in the end to help out the championship there. But great showing nonetheless. We've honestly, I mean, I don't know if I speak for everyone, but loved seeing the chemistry with you and Ollie. It's been so good to watch. Really enjoyed it. So hopefully we'll see the same for Alexis next season. In fact, do you think Alexis may get herself into that list of top teammates?
Yeah, we'll see.
You have to say that, really be rude if you didn't want it.
It depends sort of on chemistry and things like that, how we work together. But I'm not 100% sure in terms of the working together it will work as well, because the reason me and Ollie worked so well together was because we were most of the time very, very close together in races and were able to coordinate. For instance, like obviously Qatar, where I was able to hold back a couple of people to let Ollie run away a little bit, or even Baku, for instance, and then Vegas, we were pretty close together towards the end, so he was able to hold Ellen back for me to try and hunt Andrea Chenkovan down. So yeah, I think in that sense, me and Alexis won't be sort of as coordinated, but that's not the only way as that you can coordinate as a team. So we'll see.
Indeed. Well, thanks for joining us as you always do, and it's always been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for driving this season, of course. It's actually been great to watch you back on track. I know you weren't sure, you didn't think you were going to be very good, but you've absolutely proven that wrong, and you've taken third position. You call yourself Mr. P4 himself, but it's third in the championship for Embaldero, and it's been an absolute pleasure. So we'll look forward to seeing you once again when you join the brand new team Cadillac in season number 11.
Yep. Thank you very much, guys, and we will see you next season.
We certainly will. Thank you very much to, of course, Owen for joining us. And now that means that we can head further up the order. 2 drivers to go in the interview room. We're very popular today, and we're going to go to the driver that just about missed out on the podium. Luca, talk me through that one.
I was happy to get pole. I didn't honestly expect it. I thought Alexis would beat me by a mile. I thought maybe Aaron would, but then I saw he had a quali ban, so that went out the window. And then the race was good. I had some good pace, but my tyre wear was absolutely atrocious. Like I had to do so much managing because I wanted to do a 1-stop from the start, but I had really low wings. I was going to try to stay ahead of everyone, but yeah, it was impossible with my tyre wear.
Yeah, difficult with the way that tyres go around here. It was an interesting one for us to watch because it seemed to be that the tyre wear was a little bit higher than it usually would be at Abu Dhabi. Could you just give us an insight into exactly what was going on?
I've been running like some newer setups recently that have been given to me, and they're clearly a lot quicker than what had been before, but because I'm still using manual gears and traction control, they just absolutely melt my tires. So for the last few races, I thought I might as well try them and see how they go. But yeah, I'm going back onto no assist. So hopefully, if I can find some good ones next season, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, that was going to be my my question about the whole assists thing, which, of course, you started. Don't even remember if it was this season or last season, but you started certainly on this game cycle with trying to go no assists, and you're going back to it next season. Do you think you've learnt from the no assists experience?
Not really. I mean, I think I finished like 1 race and I was in 8th. So obviously I've learned, little bits, but I didn't honestly practice that much during that period as well. It was kind of just I do like a little bit of practice before the race, turn up to the race, crash, and then next week, and it would just recycle over and over again. So
yeah, fair enough. We've seen more improvement from you this season than anyone else. We had a look at your stats earlier on, and it was like 9th, 11th, 9th, and then suddenly this season you've jumped up. What's the target for the new DLC? Is it just going to be trying to go flat out for the title, or are you going to temper them a little bit?
well, I've said that I don't know if it was in my pre-race interview, but it was I said about I'm hoping to fight for the title, but it depends if anyone new joins who's quicker than Chenky, because I want to be around Chenky's pace. I think when I get the assist off, if I can get the hang of them, I should be around him. I mean, I don't know if Alexis is going to take another big jump in improvement. It's kind of hard to tell right now, but I would like to fight for the title.
Of course, we didn't actually check the pre-race interviews throughout the course of this one. I think I didn't even notice that there were any, so I must have accidentally read the channel. But yeah, it's been very good to see you across the course of this season, of course, improve. That's going to be all from me. Carl, have you got anything for Luca?
Luca, before the race, I gave you a
I
very
know
clear
what's coming,
instruction.
yeah. Oh, God.
I said to you, don't race Ollie, and don't let Andrew Chegavan come and jump in the party. You completely ignored me. So I guess firstly, yeah, actually I've got 2 questions for you, so I'll let you answer that one first. I mean, what you got to say for yourself on that one?
So with Ollie, I thought, because I was only really gonna actually obviously I've taken the race seriously, but I was gonna properly try to get the high position I could if I was ahead of Owen, and then I wasn't gonna win the race anyway, and Owen was in I think 4th or 5th at the time, so I thought I'm gonna be 4th either way. I might as well just try to have some battles with people, which is what I did with Ollie. I wasn't honestly too bothered up where I finished at the end.
No, that's fair enough. And I guess kind of rewinding that back a little bit, do you think there was a chance of the win if that first safety car had not come out? Because you already pulled like a 2-second gap, and your teammate looked like she was doing a great job of holding up the field behind you. And Andrea was still obviously further back in the grid. Was it on at that point?
Probably not, because without the safety car, I would have had to do a 2-stop, and I think the only reason I didn't finish even further behind is because of the safety car. It massively helped me.
Well, that's yeah, that's all for my questions from me then. But look, you've done a fantastic job this season. You know, as we said, it was 11th, 9th, 11th of the previous 3 seasons. You've now come back and hit 4th position, which is very close to 3rd as well. You're only less than like 17 points off. So it's been a great showing. Well done. And thanks for joining us as always. Thanks for being, such an integral part of the league. And I look forward to seeing you next season when you've got a brand new teammate in Ollie Corlett.
Mm-hmm. Thank you both.
Thank you very much, Luca. That was, that is our penultimate interview of the season. We're now going to drag in somebody who will be heading from reserve to full time next time out. Alexis, just first, talk me through that race.
Well, the aim beginning was to let Luca run away with it, but the safety car really switched on its heads because I had a significantly low tyre wear, so I could get by quite easily. And other than that, it was Chengi's race a whole way until he was doing a 2-stop, which I was very confused about. And then I knew I could just get the car round to the home, get the win.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the drivers went for the 2-stop, in fairness. What was the backing behind the 1-stop strategy?
For me, it's just faster. I found that I can conserve tyres rather than just making an extra pit stop, because for me, that's quicker. Won't be quicker for everyone, especially those who are on controller. But in another league, I raced against Chengi. Don't know if I can say the name, but they do partner here. Chengi did the 1-stop and ran the park home. I reckon, because there was championship fight on that day, I reckon Chengi wants to have some fun here. That's why he didn't win.
He certainly did indeed, and he got caught up, I think, tussling with your future teammate next season. I remember to say the season this time instead of year. What's the early thoughts about you and Owen working together?
He's great on defense. Like Kota really annoyed me. He was really good at defense. But yeah, fair play. And then, of course, he's consistent at P4. And when it's his day, he can take the fight to the podium. And he's always there if I make a mistake. Which this season has proved I've made probably my fair share of mistakes, because, yeah, Tuesday's never really been my greatest day for a league. Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Blaming the day of the week for the performance in the league. That's one I've not seen before. But anyway, that's all from me. Kyle, have you got anything for Alexis before we let her go?
I mean, I don't want to, do any kind of speculation, but some of us have lives on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Some of us go out. That's why we don't race it. But of course, there are other leagues like our partner league WRL, obviously you've mentioned, who race on Saturdays, and our partner league XLR, who race on Sundays. So if you are interested in some weekend stuff, check them out. But I am actually looking forward to seeing you race full time next season. You've been rapping, and we've always said it all through the season. What could Alexis do if she did a full season of APC? So I'm very excited to see what that's going to look like for you. And the brand new team, of course, Cadillac, with a brand new teammate, Owen Boldero. Of course, you two know each other very well. Do you see that dynamic working very well? I know, obviously, Joseph kind of touched on that, but, do you I know you guys get along, but on the track, do you see that dynamic, really working out?
Well, I do, because I don't think I've ever been teammates, like, properly. Because here, of course, Ollie Matthews has always been racing. So I've not had a chance to partner up with Owen, unlike the rest of the grid, because I've been teammates with Andrea Chenkovan, Saracini, Mercedes, this and that. And I think going full time, it will mean I'm more locked in on one team, which means I can actually get a proper teammate, which is nice.
Yeah, it should be fun. And I think you said earlier as well, I don't know, I haven't quite fact checked this, but you said that if the points you got for Ferrari weren't there, if you didn't reserve, that the Aston Martin will potentially be closer, if not ahead of the Ferraris in the championship. So that's
Yeah, because of course I got the win in Austria, which I know Irene and Ollie weren't very happy about me being Ferrari in Austria and around what I think Austria being my best track, and then it starting to rain. That just all played into my favour. And on the day to put me Ferrari, as soon as you said Ferrari, I knew that would affect the team's championship at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course we have a fair way of doing it, and that's the first driver to say they're not racing, which was Andrew Chenkovan on that occasion, and the other occasion it was Ethan Shackleton. The reserves will get put in their number order. So you were obviously the first reserve. They were first to say they weren't racing, which means you go in first. So yeah, unfortunately, it's not great for the Aston Martin campaign, but it's the fairest way we could do it. But obviously it's been fun. I will actually look at that stat later on and see just what that looks like, because that is an interesting one. But
I've only done rough.
Yeah, I mean the last question for me, I guess, is back to the racing, is your tyre wear. What did that look like towards the end? Because you went long on those tyres.
17 laps. I've actually done 18 before. I think minus my little burnout at the end, I think I was 70%. So I was pushing quite a lot. But I knew I could afford to push.
Yeah, that's fair. It was fun to watch. We didn't know what the right strategy was, so we were looking forward to seeing what that was going to look like towards the end. We thought Aaron Baldero might mount a late charge, but he wasn't able to in the end. But
his tyre wear wasn't too far off mine, because of course I think he's on a controller, and controllers are do have a disadvantage in this game.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to the off season where I don't have to hear Owen moan about it. But but Brian Moore may well be on the wheel next season, so that's going to be fun to watch.
Oh
but,
yeah, right.
Indeed. But Alexis, honestly, it's been great. Thank you for filling in a few races. I did. Obviously, we didn't expect you this week because I know you said you weren't going to be racing, so I'm glad you were able to jump in for the last race of the season. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm looking forward to a full season with you next season. And yes, we'll speak to you hopefully after race number 1 in August.
Well, have a nice day, and to APC, to everyone watching, I will bid you farewell. Goodbye for now.
Yes, have a nice day at 10:30 in the evening to you too, Alexis. That'll be it in terms of the interviews that we have had with the drivers. But well, just one last look at the calendar, Kyle. I think before we round off for today.
Yeah, the 18th of August. It does feel like a while away, but it'll be here before you know it, and it's going to be absolute fun season to go through. It's going to be also I got distracted there as an instant report comes in. I wonder who that's for. But yeah, I can't wait. If you are watching, if you've enjoyed this season, thank you for sticking with us. But please do join us again on the 18th of August, where we will go live in Bahrain, and we'll make it through the Middle East and have another fun season. A brand new track, a different track to end on. And it's going to be a fun one all round. Of course, you've seen the driver list previously. There are some spaces there. If you do want to join us for Bahrain on the 18th of August and the remaining races of season number 11, please do apply. Jump in the Discord channel, the Almost Pro Championship Discord channel, and you'll be first to know when applications go live for next season. So it's been a fantastic season this season. Honestly, absolutely loved it. The drivers, I just think it's been one of the most successful seasons we've ever had, which is a nice way to mark season number 10, I'd say. It's a landmark season, as you say, and it's been so much fun. There's been some really good talent, some really good battles, and I'm looking forward to doing it all again on the 18th of August. Gianuzzi, thanks for joining us, of course, for this last race. It's been an absolute pleasure having you. What did you make of the final race and the season as a whole?
Yeah, before I get into that, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it. And the race overall was really good. There was some good racing I saw from there, clean racing, should I say, to be specific. And yeah, I look forward to seeing next season now. Good calendar, good drivers. So yeah, may the best driver win come August the 18th.
Well, we expecting you to join us for another season as our head steward.
Yeah,
I kind of put you on the spot there,
yeah.
haven't I? What a time to ask. I don't know why I decided to do that now, but it felt
I
like a
can't see
good
why
time to
not.
ask the question. I mean,
I
you can
can't
say
see
yes
why-
now and pull out later. That's completely up to you.
No, I plan on staying. But, you know, things can happen unexpectedly. But at this moment, yeah, willing to.
Excellent. Well, look forward to that. But thank you, obviously, as always. And obviously, thank you, everyone, for watching before I hand back for Joseph. I just thought one last thank you for everyone. Thanks to all the drivers who have joined us this season. And no doubt we will be doing a pre-season show before the next season. So do join us for that. Do keep an eye on our socials. We'll announce that if that's going ahead. But until then, yeah, just... enjoy the time off. Enjoy not having to watch APC. But yeah, we look forward to having you all watching us again in season number 11 on the 18th of August.
It's an awkward public proposal to end off the season, and one where you kind of have to say yes, don't you, Janutzi? But of course, as we said earlier on in the broadcast, thank you very much for your work. In true Global Sim Racing channel style, I'll round off the season, and I will do so by saying, race hard, race clean, race fair, and until next time, it is goodbye.
The action's underway. Dance's authority once again.
My word, this could go wrong.
On the brakes, goodness me, what a launch!
Look at that.
It just all comes down to this.